Hello everyone, this is Anish Verma and you're listening to the Empower Your Mind for Success podcast, a podcast for anyone who wants to build an entrepreneurial mindset. So, one of the basic questions that I'm sure you got asked when you're growing up is, what do you want to become, right? What do you want to become when you grow up? And the answers would be a doctor, engineer, at least in my days. Now, there are a lot of answers, a lawyer, an actor, a singer, a designer, a YouTuber, a social media marketer, a lot of answers. But I think that question is framed incorrectly because the answer always leads to a particular lifestyle that you would end up living if you chose that profession. And there's nothing wrong with that, but the underlying aspect is not made very clear to the person who's answering the question, or has not been made aware of the lifestyle that he or she will end up living with or living by, right? And if you think about Simon Sinek's Golden Circle, that's also the wrong way to think about that or answer that question, because it is more outward focus as opposed to inward focus, starting with your why, starting with your purpose. And kids usually don't know that, but by the time they become teenagers and by the time they graduate, hopefully they have a better idea. But again, not many people are asked that kind of a question, or they are not taught that in school either. So most of the time people end up deciding what they want to become in terms of the field and maybe a title, and the title decides who they are, as opposed to that just being a title. But either way, any profession, anything that you do is tagged to a lifestyle. And I have always maintained, and you might have heard this in my previous podcast, that I have always valued time more than money. And when I was working in the corporate world, I never thought of it that way. I always put I always took time for granted. Sometimes I even sacrificed my family life for the work to be done. And it was not because there was money to be made. I mean, I was not an hourly employee. I was paid a salary, irrespective of whether I worked 40 hours a week or 60 hours a week. It didn't matter. What it was that I really liked my job. I was proud of it. I was proud of what that gave me in terms of the respect that I earned from my peers, and my clients, and my subordinates, and also that it gave me a title, and I was very proud of that title. But eventually, as you guys know, when I was working on my businesses on the side, because I always had an itch. Even when I was one of the best employees for my employers, for my companies, in the top 1%, I always had that itch of doing something more. That desire to do something more for yourself on the side, and eventually maybe even full time. And when I went through multiple businesses and had 5 different learning moments or failures, or learning moments as I call them, in my businesses, after spending $80,000 the last few years, I realized there was something not right. And one of the lessons that I learned from the mentors that I reached out to or seeked their guidance on, is that time is more important than money. See, time is a precious commodity. Everybody gets 24 hours a day, but they use it differently, and that is why some people are very rich and some people are struggling, right, to make ends meet. And how is that possible, right? It just cannot be intellectual capability, because if that was the case, all the PhD students would make a lot of money. But that's not the case, because the PhD students from that perspective are the most educated. They are doctors, right? But that's not the case. There are a lot of school dropouts who are millionaires and billionaires even, right? So it was clearly not intellectual capability. There was something more to it that had to be learned. And eventually I figured this out, and it boiled down to me that the right question to ask people is not what you want to become. The right question to ask people is what kind of a life do you want to live? What kind of a lifestyle do you want to have? And when I heard this and thought about it, I was like, okay, but what does lifestyle mean? And after a lot of research, after a lot of reading, after talking to a lot of entrepreneurs and millionaires, I came to the conclusion that your lifestyle is an equation of time and money, right? I've always maintained time is more important than money, but your lifestyle is an equation of time and money. And I want you to visualize, a 2x2 matrix or 4 quadrants, right? 4 squares. These 4 quadrants have an x-axis and a y-axis. And visualize and imagine that the x-axis is money, where it starts 0 on the left and goes to a lot of money. Put a number on the right hand side, and the y-axis is time. Starts from 0 at the bottom and goes to a lot of time. Now when I mean time, everybody has 24 hours a day, so that doesn't change. But what I mean by time is the time that you have left in a day to enjoy the life that you want to, the way you want to, right? That is what I mean by lifestyle. So lifestyle is an equation of the time you have left over for yourself in a day after you're done with all the necessary obligations and work, right? That you can spend with your family, you can go out on vacations, you are working maybe only 2 hours, 2 days a week as opposed to 5 days a week, whatever is your metric for the time that you want to spare for yourself on a daily basis or a weekly basis, right? So the y-axis is the time that is left over, and the x-axis is the money that you have. Now, if you think about the 4 boxes, right, I'll walk you through them, right? The first box, which let's say is the left hand bottom corner, right? The first is the left hand bottom corner. That is where the people in that box don't have enough time and don't have enough money. They are they are always anxious, they are fearful, they don't know where the next paycheck may be coming from. They're working multiple jobs, and because of that they don't have enough time for themselves or their family, and at the same time they're doing hourly jobs. They don't have always have work, so they're not making enough money, right? So this box, the left hand side bottom corner box, I call that is the people who are anxious, right? People who are anxious or fearful are in that box. Now if you go to the right hand side, so right hand side bottom corner box is where people are making a lot of money, but they don't have enough time for themselves, right? These may be CEOs of companies, self-employed business owners who have to pay salaries out. They may be self-employed solopreneurs, or they may have a small team of people working for them, or they would be CEOs of very large companies. And I call that box as stressed, right? People in that box are usually stressed because they're working a lot of time because they don't have enough time for themselves. So they're working very hard, they're making a lot of money, but they don't have enough time to enjoy the money that they're making with their family. They're always in meetings, working long hours, consultants, high paid doctors, lawyers may be in that box. Now, that box is big enough so people can move around in that box a little bit, but in general they don't have enough time left over for themselves in a day. Now let's go up, right? So now if you look at the left hand side top corner, that is the box where people have a lot of time. They may not have enough money for themselves, but they have a lot of time. I call that group of people content. Now these people are content. They have convinced themselves that whatever they have is enough. They don't need any more. Maybe it's a false belief in their mind. They don't have enough money, but they have enough time to spend with their family, and they're okay with it, right? They're working 40 hours a week. They don't aspire to grow on the corporate ladder higher. They don't aspire to go higher on the corporate ladder, or they may not even want to, have any aspirations to make more money. They're okay with wherever they are. I call them content, and nothing wrong in being in the content box either. But the right hand side top corner box, where people have a lot of time and a lot of money, those are the people that I call as happy, or people with a lot of abundance, right? And how can you have a lot of money that you're making and have also a lot of time for yourself. That can all only happen when you are a business owner that is leveraging assets to make money. See, whenever you are using time to make money, you are always going to be restricted because you only have 24 hours in a day. So then people start building corporations. They have a lot of like-minded people. They work for them, and people, big CEOs of companies like Bill Gates and Steve Jobs and Richard Branson, maybe in that box, right? They then eventually become philanthropists and they start helping out with charities, and they eventually start getting time to do what they want to do, right? But that usually happens later. But still, there could be CEOs in the right hand side bottom corner box, which is stressed, and there could be CEOs in the right hand side top corner, which is happy, or people with a lot of abundance, right? It really depends on your mindset also from that perspective. But the goal in my mind is always to have more time for yourself, and you are making a lot of money as well. Because remember, we all know that money doesn't lead to happiness. That there is no doubt about that. But money comes very second close for helping people get to multiple choices that ultimately leads to happiness, right? When you have choices in life, that is what leads to happiness. Money may not be happiness, but it comes pretty close. Now, when you have a lot of money, you can donate money, you can start charities, you can start schools, you can build temples, churches, mosques, whatever you want to do, and however you want to make an impact in life. But if you have a lot of money and don't have enough time, then chances of you doing that is very less, right? Then you're making money only for yourself. You're not having a greater impact on the community. And I think most of the listeners of this podcast are the people who want to make a difference, want to leave a positive impact in the world by doing something more meaningful, making enough money, maybe having employees, but they also have a lot of time for themselves to do whatever they want to, whenever they want to. Maybe they work one day a week, 2 days a week, whatever your objective is at the end of the day. And in today's world, I mean, we are living in a world where chances of achieving that are much, much higher for a lot of people, because people can do a lot of online businesses. And with online businesses, chances are that you can have a larger impact. First, you can achieve your dreams and goals, and then you can teach others to do the same, right? When you are a CEO of a company, there aren't many people you can teach to become a CEO, right? There are a handful, maybe 5 people that you can teach or mentor to become a CEO. But when you have an online business, you can teach thousands of people to become CEOs of their own business. You can have a much larger impact on a group of people, direct bottom line impact on a group of people, right? So I believe today's world we are living in times where opportunity has never been so many and so abundant, and so many different types of opportunities, right? I know we are in a tough situation given the pandemic, and a lot of people have lost their jobs, and a lot of people are stressed and depressed. But this is also a time to reflect and look back and decide, how do you want to move forward? Do you want to stay in this environment and have a mindset that this is the worst times of your life, or you're going to change your mindset and say this may be possibly the best opportunity you have in your life to transform yourself from whatever you are to wherever you want to be, or you are going to make yourself capable enough of achieving your dreams and goals by transforming your mindset, okay? So if you think about the lifestyle quadrant, right, this is what I call the lifestyle quadrant, the 4 boxes, right? Bottom left-hand corner, people are anxious. Bottom right-hand corner, people are stressed. Top left-hand corner, people are content. And the right-hand side top corner is where people are happy and are living a life of abundance, right? And when people live a life of abundance, chances are that they can do a lot for others. And the premise of all these things, right? The context and the premise and the lens that we are looking at all these things is based on value you are providing to people, right? You're doing these businesses on a creative plane. Yes, you are going to have competition, but you got to be ethical about it. You have to do the right thing, and and you need to run businesses on a creative plane. See, when you run businesses and create businesses on a creative plane, you are coming from a mindset of abundance, right? And you can do much more better and good for others when you think of it that way, when you have that kind of a belief system, when you have that kind of a mindset. So think about where you are in this lifestyle quadrant, right? Where are you? Where do you want to go? And there is nothing wrong in being in any one of those quadrants, right? It doesn't show the lifestyle quadrant that I've built is not meant to look down upon some people or say some people are better than the others. That's not the point. The point is to identify where you are and where you want to be. If you know where you are and where you're very truthful about it, you at least have a starting point. And if you know where you want to be, then you know your destination. And if you know your starting point, you're truthful about it, and you know your destination, then you now need to find people who can help you traverse that path to get you to your destination. That's all you have to do. Now, it's not easy. It sounds simple, but it's not easy, right? And that is why we need help from a lot of people. And that is why you may want to think about doing businesses where you can build assets that can generate money over and over again, year over year, month over month, right? And these assets can be physical assets or they can be online assets, right? You have to decide what kind of a business you want to do. There are multiple ways, and there are multiple businesses, and there are thousands of mentors and coaches in the world who can help you succeed in the type of business that you decide. But the point is, you first need to know where you are, and then you need to know where you want to go. And I hope this lifestyle quadrant helps you in a very simplistic way to show you which box you lie in. Are you anxious? Are you stressed? Are you content? Or are you happy? Right? People in the top right hand corner, there aren't a lot of people in that quadrant as compared to people in the left hand, right hand, bottom two squares, right? There may be enough people in the right hand, on the left hand top box as well, but I doubt that, right? If there were so many people content in the world, then we wouldn't have so many issues with people fighting and all the racism that is going on and bipartisan thought process that is going on in today's world. That would not have happened, because when you're content, you're in a rather peaceful place in your heart. So think about where you are in this from a lifestyle quadrant perspective. Draw it out on a piece of paper. You may want to listen to this podcast again, draw that out and identify where you are in this lifestyle quadrant, right? And this lifestyle quadrant is basically built on the equation of the time you have left to enjoy for yourself every day, every week, multiplied by the money that you are making for yourself. I hope this helps. I hope this helps you understand where you are, where you want to go. Maybe start building a mindset or start getting help to building a mindset of achieving or reaching your goal. Remember, you have unlimited potential. Own it. Thank you for listening. Until next time, take care.